When you live in a small town, everyone knows where you've been and what you have done. I've been trying to leave this old town since I...
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I'm Zada.
And I'm Kelly. And you're listening to
Two Sides and the Truth.
All right, welcome back to our Summer Saga. This is Summer Saga 2, Part 2. Yeah. And we got lots to cover because I have so many messages from Zada.
I had a lot. That's why we did. It's 2 weeks worth, really, if you think about it, because we didn't record last week.
Yeah, we've had a lot going on.
Yeah.
Well, and by we, I mean you.
I did. I know, man. I'm exciting lately. Okay, so... I know we're gonna hit the text, but I'm just gonna preface so people know what I was doing. So I have had a very close family member of mine, a cousin of mine, a first cousin, that has had cancer for the last year, and he passed away Sunday before this last one. And he and my brother were very, very close. Like, you know, you have like a cousin best friend. Like, I have them from a very large family.
Yeah, I have a cousin. I did have cousin best friends growing up.
Yeah, everybody's got that cousin that when you have a reunion or get together that you zone in on, and that's your, you know. So this was Zol's cousin best friend, and his name was Cole, ironically. And they were a year apart in age, but I always thought they were the same age. I don't think I even realized they were a year apart until the funeral. I was like, what? I thought they were the exact same. He was a year younger than Zol, so he was only a year older than me, you know. So love this guy. You know, the best description I can give is he's my family member that felt like home. Like when I went to San Saba, I felt like when I saw him, I knew I was home. Like he was
good. That's
good.
You
know, I have a lot of wonderful memories of this cousin. And so we lost him on Sunday, and that's part of the reason I've been in San Saba so much. I mean, I didn't really put this on the podcast, but that's part of the reason I've been there the last few weeks, but it hasn't been girls' weekends, and it hasn't been like my normal cabin weekends. I've been going to see my cousin and to see my family, and and to do what I can do.
Yeah.
And anyway, so he passed away on Sunday, and we knew it was coming, so they had the funeral set up pretty quickly, and on Wednesday was the viewing. So I ended up leaving town Wednesday and going Wednesday and staying in the cabin. And I had my sister and her husband met me there, and they stayed with us. And then Rick joined us late that night because the water pump was still broken. So the pump was arriving to my house here in Waxahachie, and he was going to have to bring it.
Oh,
so he was missing the viewing. So we go to the viewing, and we get there, get everything unpacked and get ready, and then we go to the viewing, and I see people I have not seen in, decades, up to 40 years.
Wow.
Some of them. And it's a small town, but like we had people come from all over. And these are people that were like his buddies too, that like I knew because when I used to go home when I was a teenager, I'd go running with him. Like we would go go down. We had like a cruising thing. Everyone used to cruise there up and down the main strip. Same here with Waxahachie used to have that.
That's so funny how that used to be a thing. Like
I used to do it when I was growing up. We cruised. Yeah.
Dante talks about that too, how you would just cruise up and down Main Street. And I'm like,
yes.
I wasn't ever part of that generation.
It was so fun. It was dangerous. We did a lot of stupid shit, but it was so fun. And so we'd go home to San Saba and we'd cruise San Saba. And so I got to meet all my cousin's friends and all these, boys that had crushes and, you know what I mean? So these are all like grown-ups now, and I got to see all these people that I hadn't seen in forever. So that was really cool. It wasn't just family. It was like my childhood friends. Like the one I've told the stories about Delta Dawn, how when I was obsessed with song Delta Dawn and I had a friend named Dawn, I'd get pissed because they'd say Delta Dawn and not Delta Zeta. Well, Delta Dawn was there. She was there. And her cousin was there, who was like my first little kiss when I was like 4 years old.
Aww, blast from the past.
I know. And then all these, it was just really cool to see everybody. And he was everybody's like favorite. Him and Zol were everybody's favorite cousin. Like him and Zol were the two favorite cousins. They were the oldest, so it's kind of like if you didn't like them, they were going to beat you up.
You better like us.
So everybody was just a fucking mess, to put it lightly. Like, it was a hard one. And so that was the first night, and my sister and I get there, and immediately, like, we park, and this truck pulls up in front of us, and it's my cousin's husband. It is my mom's cousin, who's my mom's age, It is a cousin of mine in the back seat, and it's all guys, and they pull up. So basically one of them's in his 50s, one's in his 70s, and one's in his late 30s. And they pull up to the funeral home, and they're like, get in. Sherry Vaughn kids, get in. I'm like, all right. You know, we got to represent our parent that brought us into the family, so we're known by who your parent is. That's my parent. So we were like, yeah, okay. We're trying to walk into the funeral home. No, y'all got to get in here first. And we get in, and everyone hand a beer and a shot right there. And they're like, we figured you needed this first.
That's what I'm talking about.
And he was our first cousin, and he wasn't their first cousin. So, but he's, it's the same. We're all very close. So we're like, all right, so we take a shot, we have a drink, we get out of the truck. There's the girl cousins walking up. They're like, oh, you got a beer? I'm like, we're at the funeral home. Yes, I already have one.
I'm good.
They're like, shotgun in, taking it. I was like, I don't shotgun beer. I shotgun whiskey. This is not happening.
Very sorry about that.
Yeah. So I was like, no, this is enough. So then we go in, we do the things. It's sad, everything. We leave there, and we go back and, have a night at the cabin. Rick shows up. Everything's lovely. And then the next day is the funeral. So we're going to go to the funeral. And this is where the texts probably start coming into play. Okay. So we're going to go to the funeral, or we go to the funeral. It sends us down a back road. Well, they're all back roads because the funeral is in the middle of nowhere. But it sends us the wrong way. There's two ways. But I've been to this cemetery, but I really wasn't sure which cemetery it was. It's not my family cemetery. It's on his dad's side's family cemetery.
Yeah.
So I think I know where it is, but I'm not sure. And it ends up, it was kind of in the middle of a ranch. So we drive through this ranch, and randomly, there's a pickup that comes up. We're lost. Rick and I are lost at this point. We've lost cell service. I'm like, oh my God, if I'm late to my cousin's fucking funeral. I recognize houses. Yeah. Like, I know what ranch I'm on. I just don't know how to get off of it into the cemetery. This truck pulls up behind us. He's like, hey, you going to Cole's funeral? Like, he knew. I'm like, yes. So I'm lost. Yeah, everyone gets lost. They lose start. Follow me. So we get there. Pickups everywhere. There's like 200 people in this tiny little cemetery in the middle of nowhere. We walk up. It's beautiful, hot as hell. We have a beautiful cemetery. They have a cowboy up there, and he sings Amazing Grace, and it's beautiful, and they tell all these beautiful stories, and it's just a beautiful service. But I have decided, this is one of the texts that I sent you, that I need my brother's ashes in this grave because they were the best of friends. They loved each other dearly. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to put, I carry Zola in a dime bag with me everywhere. So I'm going to empty this dime bag in there. So I knew I wasn't going to have pockets in the dress I wore. So I stuffed it into my bra, basically.
That's where you put things.
I'm sorry to my brother.
That's our pockets.
I know. And so I put it in my bra, and I'm like, okay. And I tell nobody I've got them in my bra, until I see his daughter, my niece. And I'm like, hey, I got your dad in my shirt here. And I'm thinking I'm going to put them in the ground. What do you think? I wanted to be okay with you first. She was like, oh my God, he would love that. And Cole would love that. We got to do it. And I was like, we do. I was like, do we ask permission? She was like, no, we ask forgiveness. I said, let's go.
That's the model that I live by.
Yeah. So we get to the service, and then everyone's walking in front of the casket. And my plan was I was just going to open it as I walk by. And while I'm talking to people on my right, I'm going to be secretly throwing some ashes into the thing. Mm-hmm. But what I don't think about is they always put that AstroTurf shit underneath the casket so you can't see the hole, which makes sense because that's kind of depressing to see the actual hole.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, I don't have access, And the casket was closed no matter what. So I was like, okay, I wouldn't have put it in his casket, but it's closed. So I'm like, what am I going to do? And then I started thinking, okay, we're going to have to go to the dinner afterwards, and then on the way back, we're going to drive by it, and I'll run and put it on top. I mean, that's, I guess, the closest I can get. So I walk around to the other side of the casket, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, maybe there's a hole into the dirt. I'm surveying. And there is. On the ground, there's
I like that you're just scoping this whole thing out for
Operation Drop the Dime Bag. So I'm like, I see there's a 2x4 thing holding up the thing that holds the casket up. They probably use that to level it, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's a little space between the dirt and the 2x4. And so I was like, okay. So I tell Maddie, I was like, all right, I'm going to drop the dime bag, and I'm just going to kick it in that little hole. I said, but if anyone sees us, they're definitely going to think I just dropped my Coke. And then I'm hiding it.
Here's a little bit of Coke for you to take.
Yes. So we're both laughing about it, though.
Of course.
So I drop it, and it kind of, it's not real heavy, so it kind of flutters. So it's like flutter, 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 flutter. And then it lands on the 2x4, not on the dirt. So now I have to knock it off the 2x4 into the hole. And I'm like, oh my God. So I kick it. I have boots on because I knew it was going to be rough terrain. So I kick it, and then I kick it into the hole, and I get it in, and Zola's now in the hole with Cole on his head side, because I did think about that too, because Zola would have been pissed if I put him on his feet.
Right.
You know? So I kick him in there, and then Rick walks up, and he sees me like looking guilty, and he's like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "I just put a dime bag of Zola in the ground with Cole." And he was like,
Of course you did.
"Is it still in the dime bag?" And I was like, "Yeah." I mean, it was kind of hard not to be because I couldn't access. And he was like, "What if the cemetery people pull back the fake grass and see it and think, oh, free Coke?"
He's gonna snort your brother.
I said, "That's even funnier."
Right?
Honestly, even funnier.
You're just adding to the story.
Yeah. I don't know that happened. So then we're kind of giggling about it. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to tell people anytime soon. I'll probably tell them at the reunion. That's what I was thinking, to give it a year to kind of,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
So, but we know, Maddie and I know. So as we're leaving, Rick and I, we're one of the last ones to leave because Operation Drop Zola off. So we kind of had to wait till it kind of lightened up. So it's down to like maybe 20 people. And as we're leaving the cemetery and we're walking out of it, we see a little fawn. It's a gated cemetery. A baby fawn, like a tiny deer, pop up from behind a headstone, because people had walked to the front of it to look at probably their own family members' graves, because it's his family. And it pops up and it doesn't know what to do. So its mom had probably left it there. That's what new moms do of deer. They'll go get their own food or water and leave it somewhere safe and then come around. And they're not very far usually, you know. But the deer baby didn't know where to go. Yeah. Like it was fenced in, and there's suddenly 200 people singing Marty Robbins in the cemetery, because we played the song El Paso. And so I was like, that poor fucking deer. Anyway, so we leave there and we go to the party, and to like the after dinner party, and just had a wonderful time and saw all my family, and there was all this wonderful food, and just, you know, had a really good time. And so we got through the hardest part of it, is more all that. This is where my texts start coming in. I don't think I was texting you yet, mainly because I did not have service. So I was like, okay. Oh yeah, see, yeah, I'm right on thing.
I tried to put them in order of as you text me them.
Yeah, they're not all in order. I don't know, but I love your list that I see at the bottom. That's hilarious. I can't wait to get to yours. We'll keep going with mine. We'll get to Kelly's, because I just read her list, and that's fucking funny. And anyway, so I'm like, okay, so we leave there, we go back, and I'm like, okay, I had told my sister I'm gonna make, she was thinking about staying through Saturday, but she wasn't sure. So I told my sister I'm gonna make dinner for tomorrow. I'm gonna put some beans on. We'll have some Bubba beans, which is like a family recipe of ours. So I start like preparing to make them, and we start going back and forth. And our stepdad has given us 2 different recipes for Bubba beans. This is like a family recipe. It's in the magazine that I was in.
Yeah.
That's one of the recipes I used. She's telling me it's not the real recipe.
Oh, who has the real one?
My stepdad, apparently. So he lied to one of us.
That mother.
But we don't know which one. So we're going to find that out. Anyway, so I'll let y'all know. But Anyway, so hanging out with my sister and them, we are talking to my stepbrother while we're at this. So I have a stepbrother that became my stepbrother when I was probably about 27. I guess. But I've known him all my life because he's from San Saba, and we actually went to preschool together. And so we're all talking, and he tells me after the funeral at the get-together, he goes, Zada, all those guys over there that I grew up with, like, I know you know a lot of them. And some of them were like, how do you know her? And all y'all seem to know her so well, and we don't know her, and that's weird. And he was like, oh, that's my stepsister. And they're like, you have a sister? And he goes, yeah, I got 2. I got 2 stepsisters. Those 2. That's her sister over there. Those are my stepsisters. And they're like, we didn't know you had any sisters. He goes, yeah, them. And so he's
yeah, they're right there.
Yeah. So then he's telling me about it. He goes, really, I'm just going to start calling y'all my sisters, because I don't know if y'all realize this, but I don't have any other siblings. Y'all are it. You know, I have 5,000 siblings. I have so many siblings. And he's like, y'all are it. And I'm like, damn it, I forget to mention you sometimes. I mean, I love him, but I wasn't raised like as a kid. But I do think of him as my brother, just as my stepbrother, you know?
Yeah.
And so I thought it was really funny. And I was like, okay, going forward, you'll be my brother. I will be referring you as my brother. And then my cousins are standing there, and I have cousins that are double cousins. I think I've talked about it before. So my 2 uncles, they're technically my cousins, but we're going to call them uncles because they're uncle age, married 2 sisters, not their sisters, 2 sisters from another family. Those sisters have no other siblings. So 2 sisters married 2 brothers. So all of their combined kids are double cousins with each other because,
Yeah.
But here's the weird part. We're their only cousins. They don't have any other cousins, like on their mom's side. Me, that's my mom's family. So those are my cousins on my mom's side.
Yeah.
But I have a whole nother set of cousins on my dad's side.
Yeah.
They don't have that. I was like, holy shit, we're it. We're all the cousins you got? That's so mind-blowing to me. No wonder you show up for every event. You don't have another family. It's all making more sense.
Yeah.
So that was one of my epiphanies. I was like, some people.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. That's
Because
really,
I have 2 sets of cousins too.
Yeah, most people
Lots of
do.
them.
Well, their 2 sets are the same set. No, it sounds inbred as shit. But
Yeah, it does.
it's actually not, but
Yeah.
it does sound like it. Anyways, okay. So the next thing was, we decide that we're going to go swimming together. So I spent Friday with Rick, and what did Rick and I even do Friday? I don't even know what we did. We hung out with my sister, and his brother came to town. And so he was going to hang out with his brother and his nephew, and they went kayaking and fishing. And he had once my sister left, he had his group, but I didn't go with them. They were all doing this boy stuff. So I was like, I'm going to go hang out with my cousins. So I go to my cousins, and they're like, we're going to take you to this ranch that you've never been to. Well, it's that same ranch that I drove through that I told you is amazing. But I've never been to this swimming spot on this ranch, and I don't know the people on this ranch. I just know who they are, and they have a lot of money. And I mean a lot of money. I mean a lot of money.
Cha-ching.
Like they own a very large, well-known. Everyone I've told it what it is says, "Oh, I use that," or it's a hair product. And they own multiple other things, but this one hair product everyone I know uses. And they had a whiskey company they recently sold, and they got a lot of money. Okay, so their ranch you have to drive through to get to my cousin's ranch, and that ranch is across the street from the cemetery we went to. So my cousins are like, yeah, come back on Saturday, and we're going to take you over there to swim. You're going to love this spot. I was like, okay. So I go there. We get in the Polarises. We take like 3 or 4 Polarises with us, and we head over there and literally drive the Polarises into the water. It is crystal clear. It is the most beautiful, hands down spot I have swum in Texas. And you know how many creeks and rivers I've swum in Texas. So for me to say that, I put it in my top 5 places I've ever swum in my life.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
And, I'm getting you there. We're going.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
See, it's good to know people.
I know. And I know someone else who's no. So I'm like, so we get there and we're like swimming, and it's crystal clear. Like I'm talking, you're in like 5 feet of water and can count the rocks at the bottom.
Wow.
And it's spring fed, so it's cold. And then we have like this whole it's like it's a creek technically, but it's a very big creek, and it's like goes downhill almost, but it's not a hill. It's like little levels. So like you're swimming and it's all level, and then you can climb down a little miniature waterfall or these rocks, and you're in a new level. And then it's
how cute.
I know. And like sometimes it's deep and sometimes it's not. So you're swimming or you're walking or you're sitting in a little waterfall. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do. There's a cave.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
It is amazing. And my cousins are like, and these are my cousins I'm mainly with my cousins that are like my age cousins, my ride or dies, like my best friend cousins. And I'm missing 1 or 2, but the bulk of them are there. And they're like, yeah, let's go. My cousin from New York was there. It was awesome. So I was like, she's from Texas, but she lives there now. And so I was like, we're going to hike down there, and they want to show me some of the waterfalls, and we're going to go. I'm the only one that hadn't been at this point. I'm like, let's go. And so we all have our beer with us, right? Because you don't bring bottle in a river or
that's
creek.
that's a no-no.
And we had to swim. They don't tell me it's so deep. So at some point, there's 6 women that are like 50 swimming through the river with their beer up above their heads.
That's a lovely picture.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So we get down there, we swim, we just have an amazing time with my cousins. It was just absolutely beautiful. And so we leave there, and so that's my Saturday. I go back, make dinner with the boys, everything's great, whatever. So then the next day we get up, and I'm going to dedicate the day to my sister-in-law, Bonnie, because I hadn't really got to spend time with her. I'm there that long. Everyone's starting to go home that's in the immediate family. Mm-hmm. So I text Bonnie, I'm like, let's get up, let's have the day together. Let's spend the day together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I miss Bonnie.
Yeah, she's awesome. So she was like, yeah, come on, let's do it. So I'm about to head to her house. This is where the texts come in. She texts me. She was like, she's a drinker, y'all, and a smoker. She's a good time.
Yeah.
And she
the
says,
best time.
She also doesn't wear shoes. Hardly ever.
She's very grounded.
She's very grounded with the earth. She also owns multiple ranches. Like this, it's not because she can't afford them. And she just, of earth. She's feral.
Yes.
That's the way I describe
She
it.
is.
So she texts me and she says, will you stop? I'm not going to mention the gas station. Will you stop at this gas station and get me 2 cases of Natty Light? No, it wasn't Natty Light, of Keystone Light.
Keystone.
It just gets worse. 2 cases of Keystone Light and 2 packs of Marlboro Reds and put them on my tab. Now, when I was growing up, you put things on tabs.
Yeah.
It's apparently still a thing.
That's so cool.
Right. And I said, so I just tell them your name and they're going to put on your tab. She goes, I don't think they really know my name. No, just tell them it's for the lady that's barefoot. I said, I'm going to walk into a gas station and they're going to give me 2 cases of beer and 2 packs of cigarettes. And what the tender is, it's for my sister-in-law, the lady that doesn't wear shoes.
It's the barefoot lady.
And she goes, yeah, it's going to work. I was like, okay, let's do this,
I love that.
So I get to the gas station. There's a little bit of a line inside the gas station. And the guy in front of me is getting lottery tickets. And you have to pay cash for lottery tickets. So the guy's like, sorry, you can't pay with the card. He had a debit card. Like, you're going to have to go get cash. And he was like, oh, okay. All right, I'll be right back. So he goes to his truck to get whatever. And then I'm like, oh, and by then she texted me and said, never mind, I don't need the beer, just a cigarette. So now I'm just getting the cigarettes. I'm like, I need to get 2 packs of Marlboro Reds on my sister-in-law's tap. And I go, okay, what's her name? I was like, well, she said you don't actually know her name. It's the barefoot woman. And he was like, oh, yeah. He really didn't know her name. He goes, can you write her name at the top? I always forget it.
Oh, my God. I love that it worked. I love that she knew exactly how she was going to be known.
Yes. Turned away the guy that had a card.
No, we can't take your form of payment. But
Yeah.
for the barefoot lady, yes.
Yes. No, we need no payment.
We need none at all.
I was cracking up. I was like, that's not the... I got to her house and I was like, you are one of a kind. So we're going to go swimming. So we go... I'm actually hitting these without actually saying it. So we're going to go swimming. So we're going to go swimming at her property. So you've been there.
Yeah.
It's beautiful there.
I love it.
One time we found a leech or 2 when we went. I don't know if you were there that time.
I don't think that I was.
If it's been warm... If everything... Every once in a while, you might have a leech situation.
Yeah, you got to check yourself.
You got to check yourself, which it wasn't a problem when I got in and I was swimming. Everything was fine. I didn't really swim. I just kind of hung out. But then when it was time for me to leave, I think what happened was when I got out of the water, I walked through like one little spot that maybe had them, and they got on my legs. I didn't notice it immediately. I walked straight up to my truck, put on my cover up, and I was going to drive back to the cabin. I get in the truck, and I start thinking, do I have an ant on me? I'm feeling something. Like, it's not biting me, but I'm feeling something. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what is going on? And so I think I get rid of it, and whatever. I'm like hitting my legs. I'm like, what is that? And I look down, and I'm like, oh, my God, I have a leech on me. Bah, bah, bah. This only happened to me like twice ever in my life. And I'm like, and I swim a lot in lakes and rivers, so that says a lot. And I'm like, oh, my God, what the hell? So to get out, they're all over my legs. They're not on the rest of my body, which is why I think it was like right as I was getting out, I hit them, and then as I got out, they just went down my leg,
Yeah.
They're all over my legs.
How many would you say?
60.
What?
Yes, they're
That's
tiny.
insane.
Yes, and they're not attached to me yet.
I would have died. I would have straight up died.
Yeah, and they're not attached to me yet. Like, they're not like big leeches. They're tiny, tiny. Like, I think I walked in on they had just hatched or something. They're tiny. They're still pink. They don't even look like what they normally look like. I'm like, what the hell? So I don't have nothing with me to get rid of this situation except for bottled water and my cover-up. And I'm wearing a bathing suit. So I take my cover-up off real quick. I pour the water all over my legs, trying to push them off. And then I get my cover-up, and I'm just like wiping my legs down with the cover-up till I know I'm freaking out. I mean, you can imagine.
Oh my gosh. Especially if I was by myself and I didn't have anybody help me, I would.
Well, she had already gone back down to the river, to the creek.
Died.
So I'm like, and this is not in the beautiful spot. We're in a different creek. I'm just putting this up. And this is a beautiful spot too.
It is.
But, and so I got them all off me, and I was like, oh my God. So I get back to, I have to drive back in my bathing suit. And so I get back to the cabin, and I'm like, I'm going to have to walk in this house and explain I had leeches all over me and why I'm in a bathing suit to Rick's brother and nephew and Rick. Like, I'm just... So I walk in, and thankfully they are still down at the river, so they don't see it. So I walk in, and I shower immediately and, like, hose myself off and because disgusting, gross, But I did survive it.
Oh my gosh.
I had other run-ins with insects and bugs and such on this trip as well.
Yeah, you had quite the time. From all your texts, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I noticed the last few weeks when I've been going, there has been some form of mouse activity back. And,
Yes.
I'd come so far getting rid of the mice. Because, anytime you're in the middle of nowhere and nobody lives in the house full time, you're going to get mice.
Yeah.
Especially in the wintertime or in the summertime at the heat of it, because they're trying to get in to get shelter. And so I had noticed a little bit, but it didn't look like a lot. Like, I didn't think there was an infestation. It just looked like there'd been a mouse, So then my Bonnie had stayed a night out there one night, and Marley, her daughter, was with her. And so when I got there for this trip, there was a note on the table, and it was from Marley, and she had drawn a mouse, and it was like, "There's a mouse in here." She had seen
If you
it.
see this suspect,
Yeah, that's basically.
he is wanted.
So I'm like, okay, there's a mouse. I got to get mice traps, and I usually put poison out. And because I feel like the sticky things, they make me sad. Like,
They make me sad.
But if you keep fucking around, you're going to find out.
Right.
You will
I will-
find yourself on a sticky thing.
I will take desperate measures.
Right. So I start looking around, and I see a mouse after the first night. I see a mouse, and I'm like, yeah, if I'm seeing a mouse, this is not a good sign.
No.
And so I'm like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to get mice traps. So I go get a pack of 4, the sticky ones, because I don't have time to play. Like, I don't live there. I need to catch multiple mice. So I put 1 on each side of the fridge, because that's where I saw it come out from behind. I put 1 under the stove, and then I put 1 in the sunroom. Within an hour, I have caught 6 mice.
That's insane.
On 3 traps. One trap didn't get activated or didn't get used. But the other 3 had 2 mice each on them. They were tiny mice, but they were mice.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, how bad is this? What is going on, So I got rid of all them. I made Rick kill them, because I was like, we're not going to let them sit there and suffer, And one of them
It's good to have a man around.
One of them freed themselves.
Oh,
Once
shit.
I got it out of the house, it freed itself. That was the 7th one I caught, because I left that one out overnight, and then it caught 1 more mouse. And I told Rick when I woke up and found it, this thing's been trying to free itself all night, because it was across the room from where I left it, So I took it outside, and he was going to get a shower and deal with it for me. And then when he went out to deal with it, it was no longer on the pad. So it's the first time I've ever seen one of those mice free them. So good for him. He's
Right?
outside
He
now.
had the will to live, man.
He did, man. He fought for his life. So then I went back to the store, and I bought 8 more. So 2 packages of 4. So I put them in the same spots I had them before, and then I put out 4 more. I didn't catch another mice. I think I got the whole family. And I mean, this is for days after.
You got them all in one shot.
I did.
They weren't suspecting.
But I did catch 3 scorpions.
Oh gosh.
I did. And
That time of year.
So the same night as the mice and the first scorpion, I'm like disgusted. I'm going to take a hot bath, a Epsom salt bath. I'm going to relax. Everything's wonderful. And so I'm like laying in the bathtub, and I'm like, I have a little glass of whiskey, and I'm just totally in relax mode. And I think I see something move. And so I'm thinking it's a mouse, So I look over. No, it's the biggest fucking spider I've ever seen in North America. I think that Australia has brought us. It is massive.
Oh gosh,
Look,
I can't even talk about this.
It is
Oh,
this
my
big.
gosh.
I'm not kidding. It's the size of my ear thing.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not going to the cabin again.
Yeah. So, well, I'm telling you, I've been anti-bugging it.
Oh my gosh.
So then I get out of the bathtub quickly, and I'm like soaking. I'm jump out. I'm like, I got to kill this now, because I need to make sure it's gone.
Yeah, we can't have that lurking
I have
around.
never even seen a spider. I don't even know what kind. I should have taken a picture, but I was freaking out.
Yeah, there's no way. I would. Oh
So I
my
had to
gosh.
run into the bedroom around the spider to get a shoe and kill it. And I did. I killed it. It is gone.
I'm so proud of you.
I was on a massacre this weekend. I was killing everything. I was like, this thing has got to go.
Yeah.
So I survived that. Let's see what
Girl,
else we got.
I would have died 4
I know.
times.
I
4
know.
or 5 times.
So we covered scorpion and oh no, we didn't. That's a different story. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
More scorpions.
Yes. This is not something that's happened recently, though. Bonnie is telling me this story about how she was mad at some guy that she was dating, and no, her brother. She was mad at her brother, and he had this cast iron like tub that she was going to redo and put in her house, and she wanted it, and it was at his house, and they were arguing, so he wouldn't give it to her. So she was going to go over and get it herself and like repossess this bathtub, right? So she gets over there, and he's got 2 little girls over there, and they're kind of being like bitchy towards Bonnie and all like hoi polloi, as my mom would have called it. Like they're like better than or something. And she didn't like them. She didn't like how they were acting. And so she's going to get the bathtub. So she looks in the bathtub, and it's outside. It's sitting outside. It's on a ranch. And she looks in the bathtub, and there's a scorpion. And these girls are all acting hoity-polloi. So she's like, okay, I'm going to freak these bitches out, you know. And I've told the story before about how she eats scorpions to freak people out. Well, this is the story of how she originally started doing it. So she reaches in the bathtub right in front of them and picks up the scorpion and pinches the pincher so it can't pinch her. So she's holding it by the pincher, right? And she looks them dead in the eye and takes a fucking bite and eats the scorpion.
That is some hood shit right there.
But then
oh my God.
She starts realizing they're really crunchy. And she's like, there's a lot to it. It's a bigger scorpion. So she says, I'm just sitting there.
Chowing down.
And I couldn't swallow. She was like, it was like a texture thing. It was too crunchy. It was like eating a shrimp, but with the outside on it. And I just it was just not working. It was taking me forever. She goes, but I wasn't going to lose eye contact, and I was not spitting it out. She goes, so I just kept looking at him, and I was just like,
oh my God.
Giving us a look, right?
That is so intense.
She goes, but then her brother, she says, looks over, and he was like, oh, come on. Are you going to swallow or not? Like, ruin the moment. So I thought that was the funniest fucking story. I was like, girl,
Can you imagine being that freaking awesome?
I mean, for real. The other thing I found out, I'm looking at my text that I sent. The other one was Santa Ana. I found out a family member of mine was one of the original 6 guys that helped capture Santa Ana.
What?
I know. How did we not know this?
That is some information to have.
I got a
right
picture
there.
of him and everything. Yeah, he's buried in San Saba. He died in like 1901 or something like that.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool.
We're going to have to look into that.
We have some Texas history going on here. The other thing is there was a cricket in the bedroom. Like, it was living in the bedroom, and we could not find it. And it was there from the second night on. And so when we were sleeping at night, it sounded like we were camping and we were outside. Mm-hmm. We named him Jimmy.
Jimmy Cricket.
He was quiet all day.
Yeah.
But once the sun went down, this bitch
he was partying.
He was partying. I was like, oh my God.
He was like, when the sun goes down.
My side of town. Exactly.
He was playing that on repeat.
Yeah. Rick and I would just go in there throughout the day. Hey, Jimmy, what's up? Hey, we're going to the store. Hold the fort down. Yeah, besties. So we made friends with the cricket. We decided he was allowed to stay.
Oh, man,
I mean, you win some, you lose some.
Right.
So when that was over, then I had Erica and 2 little friends did a little surprise jump in on there. And we had a little hang out, and I took them down a different river. We went to the San Saba River because they insisted on swimming and it wouldn't stop raining. So I was like, well, this is the closest place I can take you that where you don't have to go down those difficult stairs right now.
Yeah.
And so we went out there, and I got Erica to climb a waterfall with me. And she almost died, but she did it. And the other girls didn't, but she did. She braved it. And we climbed up there and swam around for a minute and then came back. But really, by then, I was so fucking tired.
Right.
I was there 6 days.
That's a long stretch.
Oh, my God. I was exhausted.
Exhausted. You got some stamina, girl.
I can't believe I didn't yell at anyone.
Right.
I think I was to the point. And then I get home, and my fucking kids. I get home. And I was like, hey, Rick was there through Sunday and Sunday morning. And so I was like, hey, he needs to come. Because Zoe wasn't supposed to be home. He was supposed to go with his dad. He had a falling out with his dad, so he didn't go. So it was just supposed to be Zoe. I didn't leave enough food for both. I didn't, they were having to live off Hot Pockets. Like, life is real hard.
Right. First world problems.
Right. But I get home. I told him the house better be clean. Oh, yeah, we did that. It looks great.
Oh, I'm
great.
sure.
Yeah. No, they did not. I mean, they picked up. But somebody left something out or did something. I don't know what happened. I don't think I'm getting the real story here. But there were tons of flies in the house for some reason, they said. And they killed them all. And they had to go on a fly massacre, and they killed all the flies. And they were so proud of themselves for killing all these flies. Tell me why they didn't vacuum them up, sweep them up.
You just left the massacre all over the house.
How did we get so many flies in the house? Because there wasn't anyone I left on Wednesday, and there wasn't anyone Rick left on Wednesday, but by Sunday, you're having a massacre? So they killed all these flies, right? I'm talking like I vacuumed and swept up 100+ flies.
Wow, they really massacred.
I don't know what happened.
That's crazy.
I don't know what happened. I'm not getting it. So I'm sweeping up flies everywhere. There's dishes in the sink. The counter's not wiped down. The floor, don't even get me started. And why the fuck? How come we can't get shit in the trash can?
I tell you, man.
I don't understand. When you miss the trash can, you still have an opportunity. We're not playing basketball.
I swear
you
that
can make the same shot.
It's like a labyrinth or something. I don't understand what it is about trash cans that stumps so many people. Like first of all, it's not that hard.
No.
It's not that hard to throw things away and make sure you make it.
Right.
Or pick it up. It's not that hard to empty a trash can.
No.
It's not. You don't have to have a special license or anything like that. You can.
Are you sure?
Anybody can do it. I don't know why you stack and stack and stack and stack and
Right.
stack and stack. That pisses me off so bad.
I know.
And then if you take the trash out, like you take the trash out
Put
of
your
the
trash
thing,
bag in?
Yes, that is a whole nother mystery. Like, I don't
So you know how I feel. Yeah. So I get home yesterday, and I have to record with Al at 4 o'clock. Okay, so I need to be at the studio at 4 o'clock to record. All right, I get home at 2:45. All right, so I have a little bit of time. I cleaned the whole time. I had to clean the whole time because I was so disgusted.
Right.
And so I cleaned everything up, and I'm mouthing off as I'm cleaning. And they're just hiding.
Right.
Zoe helped because I yelled at him to help, but Zoe's just like hiding. And so that's yesterday, right? So I made dinner last night, and I messed up a few dishes. I mean, I was cleaning as I was going, but I was exhausted. At this point, I look like a zombie. And I said, okay, I'm going to bed, Zoe. I need you to get these dishes done. Zoe worked, so she didn't even eat dinner with us. So I need you to get these dishes done. Tell me why I woke up this morning to every dish that I used, including 2 cast irons, in the sink. And let me tell you, at 4 a.m., I woke everybody up in the house to get up and clean.
Well, that's what you got to do.
Which didn't make Zoe happy, so she starts yelling at Zoe at 4 this morning for not doing it. But you know what? No, because I came home to it yesterday, too. Right. And the dead flies. And, what the heck? And what was Rick thinking when he got here Sunday? Like, he's a stickler like I am, So, yeah.
You went through it, man. You went through it.
That's it. Y'all are caught up. That's all I got. I can't believe I did that in 36 minutes.
I'm so proud of you.
That's a pretty good average minutes per day. I forgot some stories.
Yeah,
no
you
doubt.
covered a lot of ground.
No doubt I forgot some stories. But, we're good. Oh, we got a new resident at the cemetery where my mom is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went over to introduce myself to Barbara Jean.
That's good. Did you give her like a little pour out of whiskey?
No, but I did let her know if she would be interested in a shot. I was heading over to my mom's grave and she could join us. Because I was having a shot with my mom. And I did let her know her family's going to have to step it up with some rocks.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Mom's the queen. So that's what I did. So, tell me what you've been doing.
All right.
Your turn.
So I had not as exciting as in a week as you did.
You didn't kill as many bugs.
No, I did not, thank God. But it was kind of eventful. So last week on Wednesday, our club got shut down because...
that's her job for those.
Yeah, the Boys and Girls Club. So there are 2 separate, like the Boys and Girls Club and the Salvation Army. We're both in the same building, and we're like, they're partners, but they're still 2 separate, things. Entities. 2 separate entities. But so we have to have background checks done for each thing, the Boys and Girls Club and the Salvation Army. So we were all up to date and everything good with the Boys and Girls Club, and all of our paperwork was turned in to the Salvation Army to be done, but it wasn't done. The ball got dropped. And so they contacted us letting us know that for the Salvation Army side of the building, they didn't have any up-to-date, I think we only had one person. It was like the last person that was hired was technically still in, but nobody else was. So we couldn't have the club open with the kids. So on Thursday and Friday we were closed, and then I think they were closed on Monday as well. But we had to shut down because nobody had their background checks in. So that was lots of fun.
It's fun.
Having to tell all the parents and everything like that.
I bet you got some angry
I
parents.
bet so too. I'm glad that I'm not the person that had
to make the phone calls.
Yeah, because I'm sure that was not pleasant at all. But I can only imagine what they had to do, everything they had to go through. So that was.
What
not
is this
fun.
noise? Do you hear noise?
Yep, that is a leaf blower, I believe.
That's my boyfriend.
He's getting to work. We're taking too long, apparently.
We have been up here a while.
Yeah, we
It
have.
was the 35 minutes of visiting before we started
That's
recording.
okay. If y'all hear him, he's working on the yard.
Yeah, that's Rick.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was the fun thing. Not really fun, but I got an impromptu little break from work, so I guess that's one thing. But had to use some PTO time that I wasn't wanting to use right now. I wanted to use it after summer was over, but okay, whatever. Got a little break. I went and so since I was off work and I couldn't go to work, I scheduled a tattoo appointment because that's my. And like, you can't do anything else. Let's just go get tattooed. Right. So I went and got tattoos. I'm working on just filling in places on my arms to complete my sleeves. Like most of my big spots are taken up. I'm just doing like little filler, traditional filler around. And we finished my elbow. So we colored my elbow in and I got a couple of little tattoos. I did a half day with her. And so it was a nice, good little tattoo therapy session. Right. And we got to talk, we got some good talking in too, and something I wanted to share because, so she had recently gotten her nipples re-pierced. And so she was talking about how, for a while, like she wasn't wearing bras and stuff because obviously they get they're very sore.
I can't even fathom that pain because I've nursed children and I know how sensitive it can be.
Yeah. So
there are 5,000 other things I'd rather do to myself. I support anyone wanting to do that to themselves, but I think maybe my nipples are just extra sensitive.
Yeah, because definitely a sensitive area.
Rip my titties off before I do it. But go ahead, continue.
So she, at one point, she put her arm across her chest. And she's like, sorry, I'm cold. And I was like, girl, you don't have to apologize for that. I was like, and so it got us into a really good conversation about being pro nipple. And that's what I told her. I was like, I am completely pro nipple. I was like, I'm the last person that you have to apologize for because I don't believe that women should have to cover their nipples. Right. I understand decency, and not just running around, topless. I understand that, but I don't think that there's anything bad about the female anatomy or anybody's anatomy for that matter.
I just always think if men can show their nipples, why can't we?
Exactly.
What is the difference?
I'm the same way.
And I don't really know that I want to see everyone's titties, but also, I don't want to see theirs either.
Yeah. And so I was like, I'm very pro that. And if you don't want to wear a bra, you shouldn't have to wear a bra. And no. if it bothers somebody, don't look. And I was like, we are programmed to, not show ourselves and to be self-conscious about that. Yep. I said, and I've had to work really hard to deprogram myself for that. And I love that I'm getting there because a lot of times I don't wear a bra. And I don't have a lot to have to wear a bra anyway, so I can get away with not wearing a bra, but I purposely, a lot of times, I don't go with a bra. Or if I have a sports bra, I don't have padding in the sports bra. Right. And I have my nipples pierced too. So you can see them a lot of the time, and I don't care. I have to remind myself it does not matter. I don't have to be self-conscious about that. Right. Now, obviously at work, I make sure that I wear padding because I'm at work and I'm with kids, so I'm going to be appropriate. Right. But in my day-to-day life, I do not care if you can see the outline of my nipples or if my nipples are hard or if you can see my barbells or whatever it is that I have in. If you're going to look, okay, you're going to see. But so I was telling her, right? Stop staring. My eyes are up here. But I don't care because that's my body and I'm not going to feel self-conscious about my body and I'm not going to feel like I have to cover up my body or I have to make an explanation for anything like that. No, I do not have to. So you really, so I was telling her I'm very pro nipple and I'm very for making women feel empowered in their own body and not having to cover them up in any way, shape, or form. So
I support that.
I know, right? Free the nipple.
But free our nipple if your nipple's free. It definitely should not be one or the other.
Right.
I don't care which way we go.
I don't either.
But I'm sorry, women's nipples usually look better. Come on.
I mean, they do.
Yeah. We don't have weird hair and shit around them.
Yeah, and but especially in the.
But if you do, that's okay too.
Of you're wearing a t-shirt and you just don't want to wear a bra, and there's nothing wrong with that. But people make it such a big deal, and it's First of all, why are you commenting on somebody else's body?
Right.
They can wear whatever they want to wear. They're covered up. It's not like they're running around without a shirt on.
That's
like,
true.
why are you mad that their nipples are erect and that you can
Right.
see it through their clothes? Like,
Right.
get over it or don't look at it.
They're just jealous that they can't walk around like that because they don't have the self-esteem.
Right? Anyway, so that's one thing. So if you want to show your nipples off, you show them off, okay?
Yeah, Kelly's pro.
I'm pro nipple for sure.
I feel you.
Okay, so my next little, I didn't know that I was going to go into this, but it was funny, so I'm going to share it. So first of all, to tell this story, I have to preface that whenever Dante gets onto me, or if I do something or whatever, he always says that he's going to tell my mom on me. Like, oh man, I'm going to call your mama. I'm going to tell your mama on you. Or he'll be like, Miss Lynn. Like, that's what he does. So, and I'm always like, call her. Like, what is she going to be like, that's your problem now. I'm sorry.
You signed up for this.
No take backs. Like,
Right.
That's what she's going to say. She's not going to care. So anyway, so that's one thing. So we went on one of our walks the other day because we go walking together, which I will say, I'm not that I'm like really focusing or worried about it, but I've lost some weight from the beginning of the summer. I've lost 15 pounds.
Oh, wow, good.
So I'm very proud of myself. So if you're wanting to get into doing something better for yourself, literally just going for a walk every day. We go for a walk for 2 miles, and it's not even like rigorous. We're just walking and chatting and stuff. And it's good. It does your body good. So go out and walk if you're not doing anything else.
Good for you.
So we were on our walk, and during a part of our walk, we walk past the little bank in Frost. And so we were walking past, and he was like, hey, let's walk up here. I want to go to the ATM because I don't have any cash on me. And he likes to carry cash. And so he had given all his cash to his daughter. So he's like, I don't have any cash, so I want to get some cash out. And I was like, oh, well, that's funny. I don't have any cash on me either. But I was just joking, So he goes up to the ATM, and I'm just waiting on him. And he comes back, and he's putting money in his pocket, and he hands me $40. And I was like, babe, I was just joking. He's like, no, here, you don't have any cash? You need to have some cash on you. I was like, oh, well, thank you, baby. I was like, I'm going to suck your dick tonight. And he puts his hands up in the air, and he's like, yay. He's like, that's all it takes? I was like, I'm cheap, okay?
It doesn't take much.
Right. And so, but of course, so then the next day, we're talking about something. I think we were talking about going to the movies or something, and I was like, oh, I want to eat at the movies because you can order stuff or whatever. But he tells me no. He's like, no. And I was like, don't tell me no. He's like, no. He's just being his goofy self. Or else I was like, fine, I'm not gonna. I was gonna suck your dick tonight, but now I'm not going to. Yeah. Because I'm a woman and I weaponize sex. when it benefits me, of course. And so he's like, and then he goes, Miss Lynn. I was like,
how are you going to tell Miss Lynn that? I dare you to call her.
So hard. I was like, really? You're going to call my mom and tell her that I'm not sucking your dick? Yeah, you let me know how that goes for you.
Yeah, please.
And I think that he just really didn't think about it because that's just what he does whenever he doesn't gets his way. And so, oh my gosh, but I laughed so hard about him being, Miss Lynch.
Oh, Lord. I told Rick when he fixed the water pump, I was like, you know what? You might have just earned that. Yeah. Okay. All right.
You're getting lucky tonight.
Oh, Lord. And then I fastly fell asleep.
Don't you hate that?
Sorry, babe.
Sorry about your bad luck.
Sorry about that.
They have to wake you up.
No kidding. Oh, Lord bless it.
And so another thing, so we talked about this last weekend when we hung out. But one of the things that I have, because every now and then I try to do something, I try to challenge myself in a way that I can be more of a woman's woman. Because, you can always do more. You can always push yourself. So like giving people compliments, showing up for people, including people, like anything that you can, promoting somebody's business, whatever you can do to try to be a woman's woman and really support women. And this is a small thing, but a very big thing that I have been trying to work on because first of all, I'm really bad at names just across the board. I forget my own name sometime, okay? It just happens.
Yeah,
so
same.
I blank out with names. I can know who you are. I can know your name, but I have anxiety, and then that triggers my amnesia, and so I will just straight up forget, like in the moment, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I can't. Somebody tell me, I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So, but I've really been trying to focus on remembering women's names when I meet them. Like, so if I don't know somebody, if they're my waitress or something like that, I try to figure out what their name is, and I try to remember their name. So then I can call them by their name or say, okay, thank you so much, whatever your name is. So it make it more personable. And then also when I go back, if I go back to the restaurant or if I see them again and I remember them names, it really makes a big impact because I know that it does to me. When somebody remembers my name and they're like, oh, Kelly, and that makes me feel really good. And then I feel bad if I don't know theirs, obviously. So I've really tried to focus on remembering people's names. So even like if I get to a restaurant and there's a waitress that, and she's doing a really good job, I'll pull out my phone and I'll put in the notes app, like where I was at, what my waitress's name was. So that will help to,
Unfortunately, I'm also bad with faces. So it wouldn't even help me. I'd go there the next time and be like, who helped me? No clue.
Who's Jessica?
Yeah.
Raise your hand.
Yeah, because I'm so bad. I hate it. I hate that.
I know. But it's just one thing. Like, it's not going to be like a foolproof plan, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm still going to mess stuff up. But it's just a baby step to try to get a little bit better. So if I remember one person's name or two people's name, and give them that little boost of, she remembered my name. Because that can really make somebody feel good. Right. And that's what I'm all about. So
I'd like to piggyback onto that now that you say that, because I will say that we don't talk politics on here, and I'm not going to talk politics, but something about being a woman's woman. This week was when they announced that the new Democratic presidential candidate is going to be a female.
Really?
And it is incredibly disheartening to see so many people that post scriptures posting slut-shaming comments about such a successful person.
Wow.
And all I can think and it's not just slut-shaming, it's also about looks, and it's all related to, though, her being a woman. Mm-hmm. And, I know that people do it with men too.
Yeah.
We all make a little joke here and there, but it is a whole different level of what I'm reading. And all I can think is, why women are posting it too, not just men. And I'm just thinking, your daughters are watching, mm-hmm. and your sons are watching. Your sons are learning to speak of women like that. Women empower women that are successful. That is how we're speaking about them.
Or is acceptable.
That is acceptable. But also, people you go to church with are on your Facebook. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're reading it too, and this is what they're thinking of you. And if we're going to be stewards of Christ, we need to understand that every one of those jokes are making it down to a little girl, mm-hmm. and a little boy, really. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a monumental moment, to have a woman even in the game, and much less an African American woman, and just the it doesn't matter what party she's on. I don't care what party she's on.
Yeah. That doesn't give you the right either. Nothing gives you the right to make this.
Yeah, comments. It doesn't matter either side. And I've seen it done about other people on the other side of the fence, and I thought it was disgusting then too. It's just a disgusting way to support women. I mean, it's more than about her. It is about what people are taking from that. Mm-hmm. So if you have a friend that is black and you're talking about the fact that you're putting some black connotations in there, they're seeing that too. Mm-hmm. And you got a girl that's fighting to be recognized in her field or in her career, she's seeing that too. And the little girl on the playground being told she can't be a scientist, and that happens. That's real life for women. Mm-hmm. And I just implore people that no matter what side of the spectrum you're on, no matter who you're voting for, remember who you're presenting this to, and is it worth it? Is your little meme insulting and slut-shaming as if you were in the fucking bedroom?
Right. Like,
you heard a rumor, and now you're a steward of Christ. Like, I don't understand. I can't even fathom.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. And it's not about politics. That's not what it's about. It's about a woman who is having shit thrown at her that I have never seen thrown quite so much at anyone else. And it's just very disheartening. Yeah. And I think to be a woman's woman, you have to support women.
Across the board.
Even if it's not, I don't have to vote for the woman.
No.
And I don't have to be like, yeah, she's awesome. But I also don't have to, who do I care who she sleeps with. If she was a single woman and slept with 20 guys in 2 days, but she still fucking killed at her job, why would I care? What?
Yeah. Makes no difference to me.
What? And I'm sorry, but come on, politician men, you don't think they're sleeping their way to the top 2? Come on.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, come on.
They don't even have to, and they still do.
No, they're bragging about it. They're like, damn guy, he gets pussy all the time. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh, that.
I tell you,
man,
it's a double-edged sword.
She let a guy have some pussy. Oh my God. No, come on, y'all. Come on, be better, do better.
I feel like it has always been that way. It has always been a double standard for women when it comes to anything sexual. Like you can't, guys want you to be sexual because they want to be able to sexualize you and they want to look at women in this way, but the minute you do it, you're a slut.
Or like it's an age-old thing, like where you get in a relationship with someone and they, you know, they really like that about you. Like, you know, you meet them and you're like, oh yeah, we're, you know, I wanted this sweet girl and you know, and everything except in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And then you get her in the bedroom and she's the sweet girl that has been taught never to do that, and you're like, oh, I got to cheat on her because she ain't doing shit to me in the bedroom.
Yeah, she's not fulfilling.
Like, you can't win.
No, you cannot.
Can't win. You know. So I'm just imploring people to let's break that cycle. If you have a problem with a policy, talk about the policy.
Yeah.
If you got a problem with something that she voted on, you know, in her position, or that, you know, something she did as a prosecutor or whatever, then great. That is, you know what? That's her job. That's what she is there to discuss her issues, you know, regarding her job. And, you know, but if she's not, you know, she's not like sucking a spy's dick, it doesn't really affect me. Basically.
Basically.
You know?
Sucking a spy's dick. I'm sorry, goodness.
That's all I got to say about that.
Right.
I think that sums it up. Let's do better.
All right, we're going to change the subject now. So another thing that I was thinking about, because just last month, I said something about how, oh my gosh, June's already over with, and we're starting in July. Now July is almost over with.
Yes.
Like, it is so crazy
Summer
to me
is almost over
how
with.
fast time goes. And I remember when you're younger, time goes by so slow.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh my gosh, this time's never gonna. And it feels to me like it just gets faster and faster. The older you get, the faster it goes by. Yeah. And like, and in the blink of an eye, and you're like, oh my gosh, this time it's gonna take forever. And then you turn around and it's just. I can't. Where does the time go? Why does it do that?
I don't know. You and I have not swum one time this summer.
No.
That's so weird.
I have not been
together. I've swum a lot.
I have not been in a body of water. I said this. I have not been in a body of water that was not for work.
Yeah.
I have not swam for pleasure.
We're doing this soon. We have plans.
I know. I can't wait.
It's coming.
Oh, girls' weekend. It's gonna be so much fun.
You know what we didn't talk about either is the weekend before the funeral that you and I got to spend the day together, and we had a fun day together.
Oh yeah, I know, because we didn't get to record this past week.
Yeah. But Kelly and I finally got to hang out.
We did.
It was awesome. Should have been there.
One of the reasons that Zada is my best friend is because we're just so on the same level of what would you call it? Like socialness. Like we're both very social people. Like we like to have fun. We like to talk to people. We like to talk. We like to make
do
friends.
Things. We like to dress cute.
But so she's like wants me to go to this event with her, and I'm like, I'm down. All right, let me know when to be at your house. I get ready. I'm happy that I actually have something to like get ready and get cute for. Get to her house. She's like, okay, we go. We're like going to the event, right? We get there, and as we're pulling up, it's just
not big enough event.
It's not. It's not what we pictured. It's not. It's very small circle kind of thing. And she's just like, eh. And I look at her, and she's looking at me, and she's like, no, we're not gonna do this.
I never even stopped the truck. I just did it.
Busted a Yui
and just left
and just pulls out, and I'm like, I love you so much, because that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, oh, this is really small. I'm actually overdressed. It's not what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah,
like,
so we just exited stage left and went and had a wonderful lunch.
She's like, oh yeah, so we just went and ate.
And we went shopping.
It was so much fun. I actually got some cute dresses.
You
and
did?
I felt...
let me tell you, the dress story is funny.
Yes, it's good.
Yeah. So Kelly and I go shopping, and we go to this thrift shop that she likes. And I have this dress I bought I've been with Rick for 12 years. This dress is probably 15 years old. And it's a black strapless linen dress from Old Navy. Mm-hmm. And I love this dress. I bought it new, and I wore the shit out of this dress. And it is It was a showstopper, okay?
Yeah. She told me about this dress when we had been friends and we started hanging out or whatever. And there was one night that I needed something to wear, and of course we share each other's clothes. And so she's like, there's this one black dress. It's my lucky black dress, and if you put it on, it looks good. It looks great on everybody. You're gonna have the best night. I was like, yeah, I need to see this dress. And so she let me borrow this dress, and of course I put it on and I loved it. It looks so good on me. It's just great.
It's a beautiful dress.
It's a great dress.
I love a dress so much. I started getting worried I was going to wear it out. And so about 5 years after I bought it, I went on eBay and I found another one. And I bought a second one on eBay.
It's good to have it back up.
Right.
Yeah.
So this dress is like 15 years old. I bought the second one like 10 years ago. We go into this shop. She picks up this dress and I saw it. I mean, I just from like a few feet away, I said, is that Old Navy?
Yeah, you're like, I think that's my dress.
I said, that's the dress. That's the dress.
She checks the tag. Sure is.
It's the dress. She got the dress. We now, between the two of us, have 3 of them. In black.
I love it. I love it so much. I almost wore it today, but I'm saving it.
Okay, because it's a special occasion.
I was like the next time that we get to like go out and hang out, I'm wearing the black dress.
Yeah. It's
so
a
excited.
good one. It's a good one.
It really
what
is.
Are you gonna do?
Made me
Sorry,
so
I didn't
happy.
mean to interrupt. But
no,
yeah.
that was perfect. That was where the next thing. And I'm glad you said it because I almost forgot. And
yeah,
that was like literally the highlight of.
Oh, and I got mistaken for being Kelly's mom again.
It happens.
It's not the first time.
I was like, that's my best friend.
I mean, I am 15 years older than Kelly, so it makes sense. And I am starting to look a little older. And this lady was like, "Oh, your mom said." She was like, "That's my best friend." I was like, "Yeah, I am old enough though. Thanks."
We got some good genes in our family.
That's what I said. I was like, if someone thinks that's my kid, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine with me.
I love it.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was our day. Oh, and what was the name of that restaurant? D's
Latin cuisine.
Holy shit, y'all!
It's good.
If y'all live in Waxahachie, 2 thumbs up. D's.
It's so good. You
D's
should definitely try it.
It's not Mexican. It's Latin.
It's Latin. So they have like obviously some of the dishes that you would see at a Mexican restaurant, obviously because they kind of share overlapping culture a little bit there. But oh my gosh, it's so good.
Yeah. Highly recommend.
I have like daydreamed about it.
Yeah.
I told Dante, I was like, we're having a date night there. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, it's a good one. So highly recommend. 2 thumbs up. Locally owned. That's all I'm saying.
Shout out.
We got anything else?
That's all.
All right. Well,
Summer Saga 2 complete.
Yeah. Well, Summer's, 2. 2.0 because we got 2.5 because we got 2 weeks in there kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so join us again on the next one, and we'll have Summer Saga 3, and hopefully we have something to talk about because I feel like I just did so much in 1 week.
Right.
I need to sleep.
Yeah, you do.
Girl's tired. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for joining us. Maybe come back next week and bring a friend.
Yeah, and remember, there's always 3 sides to every story.
2 sides and the truth.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.